Excuse me. Are you happy with that park?
Yeah, what's wrong with it?
You're way outside the line. You're taking up 2 spaces.
I'm like an inch over the line.
No, you're a foot over the line. You're taking up 2 spaces, and the next car is also going to be taking up 2 spaces. Then you're going to leave, and then that car is going to get blamed. This is chaos. Society can't function like this.
What?
You have to be in the lines the way it's supposed to be.
Here's an idea. Why don't you mind your own business?
Well, I suppose that's an idea. Not a very good one, though.
Oh, no?
Just say, you know what? I'll do better next time.
I did fine. I did fine.
No, that's not
I
fine.
don't need to do better.
You didn't do fine. You need to do better.
No, I did fine.
You need to do better. It's not an open field. This is not a farm. Okay, just park your car. Park your car between the lines. It's not that hard. Look, just pull in between the lines.
Why don't you stay between the lines of your own business, huh? Why don't you stay confined within the lines of not being an because you're way over that line, all right?
The only person who's the here is the pig Parker.
A pig Parker?
Yes.
So you're calling me a pig?
A pig Parker.
Hey, you know what? Have a real nice day.
Okay, I will. I'm sure you will too, at everyone else's expense.
TBTL.
Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is?
It's Friday. Friday. Gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend.
Is this for real?
It's called the dark web. It's where you can find all the cool stuff.
The enormity of their flat brain, the enormity of their stupidity is just overwhelming.
It's like the most requested thing when I ask my Facebook what you guys want to see from me. It's like, get drunk, get drunk, get drunk, and there's a time and a place for it. And guess what? That place is now, and that time is now.
Did we just become best friends?
Well, all right. Hello, good morning, and welcome everyone to a Friday edition of TBTL, the show that just might be too beautiful to live.
Oh, you're gonna love the lift and tweedle out of this.
My name's Luke Burbank. I am your host.
I just want you to be normal, and clearly you're not.
Coming to you from the Madrona Hill studio, perched high above the mighty Columbia.
Oh, Ma, Pa, it's just beautiful.
Where we are looking at a picture-perfect Friday, everybody. Blue skies, green grass, brown deer with speckles that just wandered through the yard here outside the Madrona Hill studio, which then had me Googling deer garden, which the internet gets very confused when you're trying to figure out what kind of plants can I grow that deer would like to eat, because mostly the internet is obsessed with figuring out how to make it so deer don't eat your garden. But right now, I was watching deer eat like blackberries, and I thought that's got to be something. I mean, like not even the blackberry, but like the thorny part. I was like, can I grow some stuff here that they would like to eat that I don't want, that just is there for them? Kind of like a, I don't know, like a sizzler or a Rax. Back in the day, if you're from Seattle, you know, something with like a nice little salad bar, but like for deer that they could eat. I don't know. I need to focus on the task at hand here, which is episode 4,713 in a collector series.
Let the fun begin.
I'm excited today, though, because it's a beautiful day. My brother, DFTV, is coming over later this afternoon with his wonderful wife and their beautiful daughter, Gemma. Aww. Going to be watching some baseball. We're going to be doing some grilling. It's going to be a spectacular Friday, everybody. But again, none of that can get started until we have delivered the goods here, by which I mean today's episode of TBTL, which actually includes a little bit of sad news. One of my very favorite places in Seattle, at least late night places, has its last weekend in its location. Seattle's Best Karaoke is being told by the owners of the building that they need to vacate because they want to do something else with that building. I'm sure something really worthwhile. I'm sure something that rhymes with schmorange schmeary or something. But anyway.
This is why we can't have nice things.
I'm literally currently in contact with Shinji, the owner of Seattle's Best Karaoke, trying to figure out if we're supposed to be sending the tens of listeners to SBK this weekend or if we're not, if it's already sold out and overwhelmed. So anyway, we'll talk about that and so many other things with this guy, longest running co-bro of the show, maybe best known for his depictions of the tall ships.
You want showmanship? You got it.
He's Andrew Walsh, and he's joining me right now. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning, Luke. Sorry, I just had to, well, hopefully everything is okay. I had to do a really quick rush job on a Photoshop to send our friend the Stewbot. I had to get a picture while you were talking. I had to download a picture of Clifford the big red dog, then download a image of a big stamp that says liar, and I could stamp the word liar over Clifford's face and send it to the Stewbot before we started the show. But it's all done now. We're done. I'm finishing my conversation about lying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, buddy.
Lying dogs.
Well, what's
in Soviet Russia? Coronavirus gets you.
What's going on with you and the Stewbot?
He just texted me I sent out the TBTL newsletter earlier than usual this week, and he wanted to know if he was the inspiration for that. And he was not the inspiration for it. It was the fact that my puppy dog got me up at 6:30 this morning is what inspired that. And so I don't want to I don't want to steal credit from the Stewbot, but I need to let him know that it wasn't really him that inspired me so much as my dog. And I said it's because my dog, even though she promised me she would be a late sleeper in her, has proven not to be. So.
I see. So you're not saying Stu is the liar. You're saying Lucy is the liar.
Dogs are the liars. Yeah, and he said
dogs as a species.
Yeah, he says it's he put it on Big Puppy as he put it, and so I thought of Clifford the big red dog as Big Puppy. And anyway, it's not even worth.
I love it when you call me Big Puppy.
I can't even riff on that. I'll just laugh at that. That's a good one.
Well, because here's the thing. The fun-loving criminals, at least those of us that are West Coast based, just woke up this morning to a pretty early morning photograph of a tall boy of Rainier beer from the Stewbot.
Yes, a tall boy of Rainier, by the way, outside of its comfort zone, outside of its natural habitat, right out there in the Midwest. Do they sell Rainier out there, or was that a special delivery to our friend the Stewbot?
That's a great question. I guess I don't know the answer to that, but he basically was saying, Stewbot was saying that that he's drinking Rainier this weekend in honor of. I mean, what it was a Minnesota Timberwolves text.
Mm-hmm.
His basketball team, the Timberwolves, are in the playoffs. But he was and this is how checked out from the NBA I am. He was referencing a player on the Timberwolves who's actually a Washington State kid, and so. But I was like, he must have I looked at the timestamp. I thought, well, maybe he sent this last night and it took a while to get through. Again, I'm not here to judge anyone's drinking habits, but then I believe you checked it and said, and I'm paraphrasing right now. You said,
I believe I just said it's 10:30. Wait, no, it was 9:30 his time, right? I said it's 9:30, Stu, is what I believe I said.
But then I think you followed up with said, "Aren't you getting started a little late or something?"
I did say you're behind. You're a little behind schedule, maybe. Yeah, because at first I just wrote Stu. It's 9:30, and then I thought, oh, that's a. It sounds like I'm not joking. It sounds a little bit more judgy than I meant. Exactly.
So then he said, I already delivered the newsletter. It's the freaking weekend,
That's
baby.
Right. That's
which
right.
which was, of course, relevant to your communication with him later, because you also put the newsletter out on the second week in a row. I think you had that newsletter out wicked early. And here's what I was going to say. And this is, I've already told you, it's like I'm walking on sunshine. It's a beautiful Friday.
Yeah, it's nice.
I've got my brother and his wife and my niece coming over. The Mariners are playing in St. Louis. I've got a reasonable. Lewis.
Somebody's got to.
I've got a reasonable amount. Who's going to do it? You? You don't have the guts. I'm looking forward to a reasonable amount of yard work before they get over here, which is just a quick mow of the lawn. So it's going to be. I'm very, very excited about this Friday and this weekend. Becca's running the Eugene Marathon. I'm an unpaid marathon support staff, which involves driving her to the race course at 3:30 in the morning on Sunday or something. Those are my big weekend plans.
The biggest one I've ever had.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Continue talking about your weekend plans, but I
love the Sonic branding.
Yeah, we
have to. It's
exactly. It's sponsored.
We owe the listeners. We owe Paulie.
That's right.
I also just freaking love this song. So I'm in such a good mood. I don't want to take this in any way to a topic that could get testy or weird, but I just want to say it's been an interesting. I mean, let me put it this way: you work much harder on TBTL than I do, and that's a true statement. You do so much post-show production. You write the newsletter. You're monitoring when people are saying, "Oh, Spotify is being weird with the show." You really work very hard on this show. And the fact that people like the sound of it, you get all the credit on that. But you are, by your own admission, a person who is generally not a huge fan of early morning stuff.
No.
And this Lucy addition to your life has completely flipped your schedule. It's like, I don't even know who I'm dealing with. I'm getting emails at 6:30 in the morning. The newsletter's flying off the presses at 7 a.m. I could get used to this.
I don't know how long this will last.
Could you get used to this?
No,
is this a whole new Andrew?
Well, I don't, I love staying up. I haven't stayed up. I went to bed at 10:30 last night. The problem at the begining of the...
That's not sarcastic, by the way. I know that you love that, and you need that as a kind of a mental reset. I really mean that.
Yeah, it's I have mixed emotions. I'm trying to, not... I had a few kind of rough moments, I think, in the first, it's now about a week and a half, right? Wednesday was the official 2-week mark of us having Lucy in the house, and that's official because that's what our kind of trial time window was, 2 weeks, and now we haven't officially paid the adoption fee yet, but essentially it's no longer a trial. Lucy is part of the family, or the pack as we call it. We're no longer a family, we're a pack now. We're Lucy's pack, and so anyway, it's been a tough. Some days, especially the first 2 weeks were there were some rough times because, first of all, it wasn't just a lack of sleep. It was almost like most of those days, the first week especially, it felt like jet lag because I'm used to a certain waking up and going to sleep. But not only was it sleep deprivation, but it was also a complete flipping of my schedule. But it was also she goes to the bathroom a lot. This is just puppy stuff. You have to take her out late at night, and then she will wake you up early in the morning. I think it was last night or 2 nights ago. And I would like to say this is very good behavior. This is not bad dog behavior because she is not having accidents at night. We keep her in our room with us. We have a baby gate up. She's not allowed on the bed. She's got her own bed in there, and she's got a pillow on my side, her bed on Genevieve's side. She kind of goes back and forth between them, mostly sleeps in her own little bed. And when she has to go to the bathroom, she wakes us up by kind of like walking around and shaking her collar or whatever. Yeah. And she has not had an accident in the bedroom since like maybe night 2 or 3 or something like that. It's really good. But last night, 2 nights ago, she woke me up. I think I had gone to bed early, then she woke me up at midnight, and then she woke me up at 2 a.m., and then I think Genevieve did the 5:30 a.m., and then I did the 6:30 a.m. or something. And then usually, like, if I am up taking her out at the 6:30 window, I'm not going back to bed. If it's 5 o'clock, it's on the edge. I might go back to bed. But the thing is, if she's starting her day at 6:30, as she has the past 2 days, then I'm taking her outside, and then she's coming back in, and she's kind of got the zoomies. So then it's my job to just like funnel all of her energy into good things like playing and chewing on the things that we're supposed to chew on, and not harassing Bingo, and not, trying to get attention by chewing on things that are going to get a reaction out of me. So like, it's been good. I love this dog more than life itself. I would do anything for her, including getting up at 6:30 in the morning, but there are very few people I would do that for. In fact, some would say that she's not even a people, and maybe that's the key right there. Because once I get up, like, I can't bring her back in the bedroom because she's just going to be full of energy and run back and forth and like bang her head up against the wall. So I got to like go out, and we now have a little basket where she goes in and chooses, which it's the most adorable thing you can possibly imagine. She chooses her toys, whether she wants a tug-of-war toy or a let's go fetch ball or whatever it is, and we just work out all of her energy, and we go outside like probably 3 or 4 times in the course of 90 minutes until she's settled into her day. And so because of that, my schedule's been all weird. I do feel, though, where it was at first, I wasn't sleeping at all. Now I've just shifted to kind of more of an early morning schedule, trusting that Genevieve is going to do like the midnight takeout or whatever. Yeah. So it's just been weird.
Are you missing your Andy times, though?
Well, I am. I mean, because that's the thing. Like, I have snuck downstairs for maybe like 1 hour here and there, and maybe watched the last couple of innings of a baseball game, and thrown like, I'm trying to like not get totally bad at darts, so I'll throw like one quick like 40, maybe a half hour, maybe 45 minutes, throw a few darts just to like remember what it feels like to be alive. But like for the most part, or to be dead inside,
to
or
have
whatever,
personal freedom,
to have personal freedom. And again, none of this is a complaint. And I said this to you off air yesterday. She's a really good dog. As far as these things are concerned, like, she is not a problem. It's just a lot of work to do this stuff. I think I told you I got an email or a note or a text or something from a buddy the other day who said, just thinking about you, like, puppy days are tough days, and a lot of people kind of forget about that. You kind of forget about it when your dog is 1 or 2 years old, but it's just a lot of work, and I appreciated him reaching out to say that because it has been a lot of work. It's been really good, but you have no moments of just like, oh, I'm going to turn my back on this situation, because if you turn your back on the situation, you're going to be cleaning something up pretty quickly.
Yeah. Well, I give you credit, though, because like we were talking, you and I last week about, I think it was about the newsletter coming out early. This was off air. And you said, well, yeah, because basically like there was like 2 hours at like 5 a.m. where it was like the dog was under control had gone back to sleep and like was under Genevieve's care in one way or another, or was sleeping. And I was like, well, these are the only 2 hours that I'm going to have that are basically like where I could actually focus in on the newsletter. So I give you huge credit for that, because even though I tend to be now, I guess I'm kind of more of an early riser than I used to be. How do I put it? If I were like to wake up, let's just say I get up about 6 a.m., but if I were to like have to go to the bathroom at 4:30 and I wake up and I can't go back to sleep, I'm not being productive from 4:30 to 6. I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe I'm tossing and turning. I'm scrolling. I'm like, because I think I'm resentful of the fact that I'm not sleeping.
Yeah.
So like, I don't go like out into my, living room area and sit down and file CBS expenses and concur from 4:30 to 6. I'm just like, I'm not sleeping, but I'm not being productive. And it sounds like you're using your non-sleeping hours to be, your non-sleeping hours to be productive, even though you would rather that you were on a different schedule. So I tip my cap to you on that one.
Thanks. Yeah, and even all the going outside, like going outside is not a bad thing, generally speaking. It's good for one's health. But, when it's kind of like I'm going outside because I'm waiting for her to go to the bathroom or something, you can kind of be like, oh, it can sort of feel frustrating. And there were times at first, before she really knew what the gambit was, too, at least now she knows to go outside and at least assume the position. Like, she understands that, like, at least pee a little bit or make it look like you're peeing. Like, we're doing this for a purpose, and she's gotten a lot better at that. But at first, when you're just standing out there and you're just waiting, and she's looking up at you or whining, and she doesn't know why you're outside, and you're like, I don't want to be outside either. And it's raining. A few of those days early on, we had that really bad rainstorm, and you're just standing out in the rain thinking, like, what am I doing? And I'm like, I've really tried just to shift my attitude on all of this. This won't be forever, this phase of things. I mean, we'll always have to care for her, of course, and happily so, but it won't be like this. It won't be this frequent. It won't be this, like, are you going to do it or are you not going to do it? And hopefully we'll get to a point where she tells us when she needs to go to sleep or go to the bathroom. But my point is, like, I'm trying to have an attitude of just, like, just be here for it. Like, and even if it's not even if it means turning on NPR or reading Stu's newsletter while we're standing, like just being like, I need to be outside, and especially like you said, Luke, on a day like today where it's like, oh, it's not pissing rain. It's just dogs.
This is going to be such a fun summer. And also, have you considered taking up cigarette smoking?
Well, I don't think I haven't thought of it.
This feels like a perfect cigarette smoking kind of situation.
Exactly. I keep on telling her, I keep asking Lucy, can you bum me one of those smokes?
Exactly. You'll be like, hey, Lucy, can we go back outside, please?
Hey, Lucy, do you know what the AM PM is by any chance? They sell all kinds of things you can smoke there. Some of them are in the parking lot, and some of them are actually inside.
Some of them are more formal, and some of them are more informal.
We have we have an area like literally a block from our house now where there's been one RV that's parked there for a long time, and somebody's clearly living in it, which I hope you know I have absolutely no issue with. He's been a good neighbor and he keeps his place tidy or whatever, but there are other times where then a few other RVs come or whatever, and then sometimes they're kind of, I don't know, cleared out in some way. I'm assuming encouraged to leave by the city in some way or another. But the neighbors are having a freak out now. And I will say, I don't want to get all next story about it, but I do understand the difference between an RV or two where somebody needs to sleep because they're poor and that's the only thing they can afford. And I will be a good neighbor to them and they will be a good neighbor to us, versus we now have, I believe, 5 or 6 RVs, and it is definitely not. There's business going on. There is all kinds of business going on in these things, and we're seeing scenes. And then finally today, not finally, like I've been waiting for it, but obviously it was going to happen. Some concerned neighbors are like, this is getting This is
Out of
getting
control.
really bad. Also, I just remember somebody was stabbed on our street a couple of days ago, too. So, yeah.
Oh.
And I don't know if that's related to that or not, but it's kind of like things sort of ebb and flow in our neighborhood as far as like these things go. And I'm not somebody, and I don't engage usually with these conversations, but I'm not so Pollyannish about it that I think, oh, we should just say everything is great with this scene that's going on here.
Let's just start Hamsterdam.
Right, exactly. There's a difference between, helping folks who, need to sleep in an RV, absolutely. But what's happening now, like literally a block from our house is getting kind of rough. And like neighbors are trying to and again, I don't really engage with this one way or the other, but they're like talking about like, I don't know, should we go out there with pots and pans and march up and down the street? And I'm like, good Lord.
That doesn't sound like a good solution.
Thank you, Luke. I believe
that sounds like
you summarized my thoughts perfectly.
Reverend Lovejoy's wife on The Simpsons energy.
Exactly. They're like, well, the city isn't going to help because they only care about the World Cup now. I'm just like, I don't, it's like, I hate the, I don't like the emails too much more than I like the situation out there either. But again, I don't have any good answers. I don't know what it is, but like, that's just something that we're living with.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Andrew? Running a city is complicated. And I feel like, there's people that are, not to get into, I don't know, local politics or whatever, but it's like a lot of people in Red America love to point at like things that go on in cities, whether it has to do with unhoused people or different things, and just go like, these are all run by Democrats and they can't handle it. It's like, no, it's actually way hard. It's really hard to run a place that has millions of people who have all kinds of different things going on. And which brings me to a sad bit of news, which is, speaking of the changing city, one of my very favorite places, at least at a certain hour of the night, Andrew, in Seattle, SBK, Seattle's Best Karaoke, is going to be closing up after this weekend. A lot of people who've listened to the show for a long time know that there was a period of time where we used to hit that place a lot because it was open after the bars had shut down. It's one of those places you can rent a room and do karaoke. I feel like it was kind of the first one that I knew about in Seattle. Then after that, there's been kind of a trend of like kind of fancier places, kind of like
for the rooms, for the private room karaoke.
For the rooms with like usually a nice bar associated with it. And kind of, it's almost like, how you had like regular bowling alleys when we were growing up, and now the only ones that can survive are called like Lucky Strike. Yeah. And they're like a whole bar experience. That sort of was what happened with these karaoke rooms. But the thing about SBK was we could generally roll in there pretty tuned up at about 2:30, probably, when we'd been ejected from all of the other places. And it was, I think technically you needed to get a liquor license in order to have alcohol in there. But I think it was let's just say we had some workarounds, and would sometimes be, what was the name of the mini mart? Alfie's that was on the corner?
Right. Alfie's was right around the corner. I'm trying to think, what did they call those? It wasn't a liquor license, because
a banquet
license. So they didn't have a liquor license themselves, but you could BYOB if you filled out like an official banquet license, and you would go online and like just pay. What would you pay, like a $20 fee to the city or something like that, and then print out a piece of paper? But our pal Shinji over there was pretty gracious with us once he got to know us.
Yeah, he was such a sweetheart, and I can only imagine. Like, again, this was in my maybe almost the apex of my wilding out days, but just like us after, let's just say, maybe even a full day of activities, and now it's Mandarin Gate has closed down, or wherever it's closed down, and we're like still not done having fun, rolling in there, and then you just have this guy Shinji who owns it, is just like such a sweet guy, and just such a like opposite energy of whatever energy I was bringing in, and yet never got annoyed with us, at least that we could tell, and was always just very gracious and sweet to us. Well, in fact, he even helped us with a TBTL event at Chateau Saint Michel. If you remember back in the day, we had like karaoke at one of our events, and we hired SBK to come out and manage it.
But he definitely came out also to the Maris Farm event that we did.
Oh, maybe that's it. I think
you might be confusing those, or he did more than one, because I feel like we also rented equipment for him for some event we did. I was going to say at the Eagles, but that's not right. Maybe we were considering. Did he rent us some stuff for? No, I don't think so. But I feel like he's rented us some TBTL stuff, and like has come out and set up his equipment for at least one, if not more than one, TBTL event as well. Like, and he's just like the most gracious gracious, kind man. You know what I mean? Never like holding us over a barrel for these services he's providing at all.
And also, yeah, he could have just been like these idiots again.
Yeah.
Like back in the day when we rolled in there, and that was just never his approach. Such a sweet guy. Also, just he's such an interesting dude. Like, I sort of have become friends with him, and I remember he and I were talking one time about, and I think he'd be okay with me sharing this, like, he and his wife have a daughter, and they had worked very, very hard to, set their daughter up on a good path educationally, et cetera. And I think she had gone to pharmacy school or was going to be going to pharmacy school, which they were really proud of, as they should be. And then she, I think, maybe changed her mind or she was taking some time to consider her options. And he said, at first I was really just like, what are you doing? But he goes, then I took her on a fly fishing trip for a week. And we just went fly fishing, and we just talked. And I just kind of tried to read her energy. And at the end, she just convinced me that, yeah, that wasn't, the path she was on was maybe not going to be the path for her. And like, I said, hey, well, then you got to do whatever he just had such a great, like, kind of, I don't know, even-tempered, wise approach to everything. So I was very sad to see, our buddy Camaro Kev was the one who hipped me to it, that the SBK website was mentioning that the landlord of the building informed Shinji like just a few weeks ago that they are no longer going to be able to rent out the space because I'm guessing, because that's, if I remember right, is that like the last sort of low slung building in the area? I can't remember the exact sort of architecture of it, but like, that's an area of town in downtown Seattle. It's actually by the Rebar, kind of down there. And what would you call that? The, like, I don't know, Dexter,
is it the Denny Triangle?
Maybe. I was going to say that, but I can't even remember what the implications of the Denny.
It's by the 24-hour fitness I used to go to, because I remember I've told you this on the show before.
We needed Powerade out of there.
We needed mixers one time for our very, very late night rendezvous at SBK, and I think it was literally like 3 a.m. We had booze, but nothing to mix in it. And then I remembered, wait a second, I belong to the gym literally around the corner, and they have vending machines, and they're literally open 24 hours, so me and the mummy went around. It was such a weird feeling walking into my gym, a gym that I was going to daily at that point, but walking in at 3 a.m, 3 sheets to the wind, just like tagging myself in with my fingerprint and then heading to the Powerade machine to try to get some mixers.
Can you imagine getting like an attaboy from the gym? Like, hey, Andrew, we noticed that you were working out at 3 a.m. Congratulations for hitting your step goals. You're like, I was 3 sheets in the wind on my way to 4.
I'm going to need a guest pass for this guy.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and he'll also be living here.
Yes, exactly.
But
he's still there, actually.
So I emailed Shinji this morning just to say how sad I was to hear that they were going to be moving or that he's not going to be able to be there anymore. And he said, hey, thanks. He said, while learning I must vacate this location after 30 years was a shock, I am now focused on the challenge ahead. On the other hand, realizing this is my final weekend at this location makes me a little emotional.
Yeah.
Like, he said, I will be sure to let you know if anything new comes up. Sincerely, Shinji.
They gave him like less than a month, right? Notice.
Yeah, total bullshit.
Like
and I'm going to, with absolutely no information to go on, Andrew, but just based on how things tend to go in cities, I'm gonna tell you that this, whatever the reason for kicking SBK out is, it's bad. Like it's so that this either building can be raised or so that this particular location within the building can be hollowed out and turned into something, in my mind, horrible.
I mean, listen, and if we need, we need housing, and so I don't want to be hypocritical about it. If there's some sort of housing involved, like that's something. But my question for you is, how long do you think this property is going to sit unoccupied? The way my favorite butcher shop up there on Green Lake and 105th is still unoccupied and just fenced off. That thing shut down 5 years ago. I'm thinking, is it Jensen's? Is that what it was? Jensen's?
Jensen's, yeah, exactly.
It is still just a building that they finally just put a fence around so that people couldn't, squat in there anymore. It's just like they ran a business out of business, and it just still sits there.
Now, here's the thing. I'm looking at this building now. I'm Googling about. It's a new... This stuff, it's called Balfour Place is the name of the apartments that are above it. They look like they're very recently built, let's say in the last 15 years. And so SBK, again, Andrew, this is a testament to how absolutely loaded I was anytime we were there. this is the first that I'm actually taking in the overall sort of physical structure of the building.
See, I knew that there's an apartment above it because I was a smoker a lot of times when we were there. And so while I was outside smoking, people were always coming and going into their apartments, probably loving the fact that I was smoking too, now that I think of it.
But so I don't think that this is the case where the building itself is going to come down, but I'm saying whatever these economic forces are that cause the landlord to say, we don't want SBK here anymore. We want to put something else in that's going to be, I'm guessing, more lucrative or more whatever. It's just, it just feels like it's a piece of everything fun that I liked in Seattle getting kind of driven out through one economic factor or another. So I asked Shinji, I was like, should we send the TBTL listeners your way this weekend? Or are you already kind of like, is it already sort of sold out and booked out, and is it going to be kind of a madhouse? Because I have to imagine we weren't the only people that kind of had a mild obsession with this place. Like for people that like karaoke, for people that like, be it a little wild or whatever. I bet you that there will be a lot of people when the word gets out that will want to be down there. And he said, Saturday is booked out, but rooms are still available after 11 p.m. today.
Well, that's about
He says
right.
on Sunday, the last day we are open from 6 p.m. to midnight, it's still wide open. Reservations can be made at sbkaraoke.com. So to any of our karaoke heads out there in the Seattle area, if you want to go say hi to our pal Shinji this weekend, go to sbkaraoke.com and make your reservation. And then I said to him, I hope you have a fun weekend and can enjoy seeing people who've appreciated SBK so much over the years. And he said, I will try to enjoy this. Thank you.
I mean,
so anyway.
It's tough. I mean, that's here's one thing I'm being serious about something here. So everybody shut up. Here's how we can help Shinji, by the way. As it says on their website, karaoke system delivery services will continue as usual.
Yeah.
This is another big part of their business. And so if you are in the Seattle area, and I know this is a very niche thing, but if you're in the Seattle area and you're planning an event, maybe you are already thinking about getting some karaoke action in there, or maybe you're getting that idea right now. This is still a service that they provide and probably could use your business on more than ever. Now more than ever. It says, we deliver karaoke systems to your home. Let us deliver it to your party location. They'll set it up for you. You don't need a DJ to run your own karaoke with our system. And Luke, you and I have used it before. It is pretty simple to use. And if you'll recall, it has a very fun feature that you did not think was very fun when I learned how to use it, which was I could put echo on my voice. Do you remember we were doing a live show at Maris Farms? And he showed me how I could turn this knob up, and I'd be like, Luke, 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 Luke. So anyway, if you are looking for anything along those lines, please think of SBK first.
Yeah, and what I'll say about that, too, is, karaoke is one of those deals where they do sell little machines online now, or you can, theoretically, you could try to run it through your home stereo. But if you've ever had a party and there has been the promise of karaoke, but then like it's not, the system doesn't work, or you can't get the right kind of music where it's like it's the backing vocals or it's the backing tracks but no vocals, but then the lyrics, they're not, lighting up, and like it's a more complicated thing than you would think even in 2026. And it's so much more fun when it works. Like, it's so much more fun when you just, like, the whole thing actually does what it's supposed to do. So, let's show our guy Shinji some love for all of the times that he tolerated our shenanigans.
Hello, Luke.
We was hoping for some razzle-dazzle.
Razzle-dazzle.
That's right, man, razzle-dazzle.
On your mark.
On your mark.
Get set.
Get set.
Now ready.
Ready.
Go. Everybody razzle dazzle.
All right, let's thank some dazzling donors, because our home karaoke delivery service never really got off the ground. Because it was all, Shinji had already cornered the market.
Yeah.
We've had to focus more on the podcast side of things, and the business model here is we ask people to voluntarily donate money for a show they can also listen to for free. And somehow, miraculously, people have been doing it. And they're people like Lorraine Goyette, who's in South Dennis, Massachusetts. South Dennis, Massachusetts. I know that I've read that name before. Why? Because Lorraine says, this is my 4th dazzling donor message in a collector's series.
Love it.
Nice.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the very generous support.
We've read South Dennis at least 3 other times. I ended last year's by mentioning the Silence Do Good website that artfully and with attitude reminds Boston's citizens of its pro-democracy heritage. Since then, Minneapolis-St. Paul has had to struggle to preserve that heritage. John, Minnesota, you doing wicked good, freaking awesome. Thank you.
You did the accent. You'll know. I'll know when you do the accent, I guess.
Actually, honestly, that wasn't my worst accent.
No.
I'm not saying it was great, but I'm saying I've done worse. Thanks also to the 6 good and awesome 10s who contributed to the glioblastoma research organization. Yeah, boy. What do I say about that other than folks that are dealing with that or who have loved ones that are dealing with that need all of the support they can get? That is a really, really, really awful disease. They listened. They sent me an email. They got the link to the GRO. They contributed. They sent encouraging words. My sister is still with us. That struggle continues. She and the family were buoyed and amazed by TBTL participation. In 2023, spouse and I did the cross-country trip sporting a TBTL bumper sticker. We were reassured by finding decency everywhere. When I walk our pre-named rescue dog, Luke.
You have to get the pre-named in there just
Listen,
to be very
Lorraine,
clear.
I would be honored and flattered. I mean, we already know that Andrew and Genevieve named their dog Luke Jr.
Exactly.
So I don't think there's anything wrong with naming a dog after me. I'm struck by how many good people are in our midst. But Andrew's right. Not the ones who leave poop bags in our garbage cans.
No,
it's interesting.
I do that now. It's fine. No, I'm just joking.
That would be such a funny plot twist if basically in all the ways that a dog. Are we saying ownership? What are you calling it?
I guess ownership. Yeah, I think you're right. It is weird, right? I'm like, I own you, but I don't
dog
know,
caretaking, dog having.
I'm not.
Anyway, it would be so funny if dog ownership changed you. Suddenly, you're just you're a guy who gets up at 5 now. You're a guy who smokes cigarettes again. You're a guy who throws poop in other people's.
I'm just whipping them over people's fences.
It's just like the one good thing is your heart expands because now there's even more love in your heart for Lucy. But in every other way, you're just becoming a terrible human.
Well, I will tell you that, yeah, exactly. My heart is both expanding out of love and for whatever the cigarettes are doing to it.
Exactly.
But, I will say this, and this is probably more good news as I try to open myself up to this experience. I was thinking about it the other day, my whole anger at people who put dog poop in my garbage bin, especially after the garbage bin has been emptied, because I was... Lucy still goes to the bathroom in our yard. We keep her on a leash in the yard because she's still small and she could get under the hedges. It would be an absolute nightmare. So she's still leashed mostly in our yard when I'm taking her out.
And if she got under the hedge, could she get out of the yard completely?
Technically, no, because there's a fence that runs that you can't see, but there is a fence that runs throughout through every hedge. But there are holes here and there, and we can't get back there to test the fence. You know what I mean? So if she were left alone for any period of time, she could potentially get away. And it's just too early for those kinds of shenanigans anyway. She's also growing so quickly that I'm watching areas of the yard I used to be worried about that I'm already you can't get through there anymore. Nice. But anyway, all that is to say, she goes to the bathroom. I pick it up in bags as if we are on a walk. We have those little bags on her leash. And then when our garbage bin is at the curb waiting for pickup, she and I walk to the curb together, and I put the little poop bag in there. And now our garbage can is filled with those bags. When I used to see those bags, it always meant a stranger has put poop in my property, and it's been very bothersome to me. Even a little bit before the garbage had been taken away, I'd be like, really? I'm just going to do that? And I will say, while I still think it's a rude thing to do to people, and I am not going to do that myself, doesn't really bother me anymore because my garbage bin is filled with it. It's absolutely filled with it. Now, again, I still don't think it's morally right, but it's just I'm not, of all the things to lose sleep over, it's just fallen pretty far down the list. I am more chill about that.
Your garbage can is not pure as the driven snow anymore. It's been befouled by your pack.
Yeah.
So it's kind of again, not that you're encouraging it, but it would not be nearly as big of a change as it would have been before. So see, this is another way that things are.
I hate
things
this.
Are changing.
I hate this fucking well-balanced person I'm becoming, man. It's awful. It is awful.
I'm here for it. Lorraine says, "Thanks, guys, for doing your part." Well, Lorraine, thank you for doing your part. We appreciate the support over these years, and also just for you being the person in the world that it sounds like you're being, where you're just kind of like you're out. You're engaged with your community, you're taking care of your family and your sister and your loved ones, but you're also looking for the good in the world, and noting it when you see it. Those are all really positive things. So thanks for being who you are. We really do appreciate it. Maestro?
On your mark.
On your mark.
Get set.
Get set.
Now ready.
Ready. Go.
Everybody rattle, daddle.
Nailed it, Andrew. Just got a good, oh no, wait a second. I think my bell may have did my bell just give up the ghost completely?
What's going on?
I don't know if I can even keep the plunger up on this. Okay, it's working again.
Well,
I got that 1111. I got that 1111 in.
Oh, 1111.
I'm winning some points over here.
Would you like me to read this next message? It's short.
No, I got it.
And you can text with your girlfriend.
I just send her the picture. It's kind of a, it's just asserting that I'm the alpha in the relationship who cares more about her than she. Whoever sends the 1111 text first wins the day.
Oh, I that's right. It's a screen cap of the clock. It's not like a nice little note. Okay.
No. Well, come on now.
What?
It's a screen cap of the clock. It's not like a nice, thoughtful note that takes any effort.
No, trust me. As somebody who's talking to you at 11:11, I prefer it to be as clean and simple as possible.
It's purely
obviously.
a photo. It's It's just a flex.
Right.
Do you know who loves it? Is our second dazzling donor, Robin Laughlin Aaron, who's in Stevens Point, Wisconsin.
Oh, I wonder what it's like in Stevens Point today. I'm hoping it's a beautiful day in there.
I bet you it's lovely. Although I know the East Coast was having crazy weather. I know Stevens Point is not the East Coast. Let's see. Stevens Point.
59 degrees right now.
Oh, okay.
It's looking okay. It looks like you do have some rain coming on Monday, but today is a nice sunny day. Big orange orb representing your weather today. That's great.
Yeah. I'm glad that Robin's going to be having a nice weather day there in Stevens Point because Robin deserves it, because Robin is supporting the show and says, it's an honor to be a dazzling donor this year. Thank you, Luke, Andrew, and John, for all you do. Well, Robin, I'm guessing, this is an educated guess or an uneducated one. Robin must have come by to our get-together in Friendship, don't you think? Probably.
I think so, yeah. I met a lot of people that day.
There was a lot of folks from Wisconsin and from the surrounding areas who came out to that fun night. I feel like our friend Elise was on the cutting edge when she brought that buzzball.
Yeah.
Because all I am
Buzzball
seeing
Biggie.
now on TikTok is buzzball content. It's the Twisted Tea of 2026, I feel. Like it's in the way that I think a lot of people, I don't think you were drinking it ironically. I don't think you really like to do stuff ironically, but like, I feel like Twisted Tea kind of had a moment of people drinking it. I don't want to say ironically, but like a little bit because it was a trend, but then people were just drinking it because I don't know, I guess they liked it or you like it. And buzzballs are I saw somebody online or on TikTok, a young woman who had driven across state lines. I believe she had driven up to like Delaware or New Hampshire or somewhere because they apparently had buzzballs that she'd never experienced before. She's walking around the liquor store in whatever the state in the Northeast is and analyzing the different buzzballs. And man, people seem to love that stuff.
Yeah, I saw that the Stew Bot brought a buzzball to a party, or sent a buzzball to a party in his stead over the weekend last weekend. That's a true story. We had a little bit of a Twisted Tea tasting party over here last weekend, Luke. This is a true story.
Impromptu, or was it the plan?
Sort of impromptu. I'll explain to the degree that anybody actually needs to hear this. But when the weather does turn like this, a man's thoughts turn to tea. A young man's thoughts do turn to twisting teas. And I was thinking, and I think, again, my brain was so mushy last week. I'm starting to kind of get into, I felt like last week I was all like kind of sleep deprived and sort of, like I said, jet lagged feeling. But I remember Friday rolled around and it was a nice day. And I thought, I've had this dream of like walking a dog and drinking a twisted tea or whatever. And even though Lucy wasn't ready for a long walk at this point, I was ready for some twisted tea. So I went to the grocery store, like my proper grocery store, and I checked to see if they had my deal is usually I buy one single tall boy of twisted tea. Now a tall boy in this case is a 24 ouncer. Really a tall boy in beer is like a 16 ouncer. But a twisted tea tall boy is basically like 2 cans, two 12-ounce cans all in one can. And I would usually pour that into my water bottle on the rocks and wander around the neighborhood or something. And I was in the mood to do that. And or at least drink one at home or something. So I go to the grocery store, my proper grocery store, and apparently the proper grocery store, the QFC, they're above selling Lucy's of, if you will, of twisted tea. I'm like, oh man, I guess I got to go to SARS for this because I wasn't going to buy like a 12-pack of it or something. So
you can't get one outside the AM/PM.
Well, yeah,
that feels like a parking lot purchase.
It's probably not going to be a full one, but anyway, so like listen to how depraved this is. So I leave my regular grocery store with my proper groceries or whatever, and I'm like, well, I guess I got to stop at the SARS on the way home to get my single double can
single serving
of twisted tea, and I go there. And they were sold out. Like, they only had, like, peach flavored or something like that. Oh. And at this point, I've been thinking about it for, like, an hour or something since I left. And I left one grocery store to come to another slightly dirtbaggier grocery store to get this thing. And I'm staring at it, and then I'm looking over at the 12 packs, and then I'm staring at where it should be, and then I'm looking over at the 12 packs.
After all this.
And I'm like, am I going to do this? And I'm like, well, I'm not leaving the SARS empty-handed. Am I going to buy a 12-pack? I did not like the idea of buying a 12-pack of twisted teas.
Yeah.
But I think you know where the story goes. I bought the 12-pack. And I bought the Arnold Palmer kind, the ones that are like half lemonade or whatever flavored, half a tea. And I brought them home. And that night I listened to the Mariners game. I think that was that terrible, terrible game that was also the terrible broadcast with Healy or whatever. Yeah. And I learned something important that night. I was by myself that night, and I drank 2 of them, which is my usual serving. And then I went in for a third.
Doctor's recommendation.
I went in for a third, and I don't even think I finished the third because it's not the alcohol. Their equivalent of a beer is, a can of beer, essentially.
The sweetness
but
must be
a
lot.
Sweetness and the sugar, and I was feeling like racy and like not. I was like, okay, now we know our limits. The limits are two cans, 24 ounces. But then also I had a refrigerator full of these damn things now, as opposed to just like, oh, it's a Friday, try to convince myself I'm doing this on a whim. And then folks were coming over. People have just been kind of coming and going, meeting Lucy. And we had a group of friends over just briefly before Genevieve went to the Eagles last Saturday. A bunch of folks swangled by, as Kevin would say. In fact, he was one of them. And I had mentioned my 12-pack of Twisteds, and somebody said, well, I'd be interested. I think it was our friend Liz. Said, well, I'd be interested in and I was like, okay, well, do you want to split one with Camaro Kev? And so I poured over ice for both of them. And then somebody else was like, oh, I'm sorry. Were you handing out twisted teas and you didn't? It's like literally somebody was like, well, I would like one as well. I'm like, all right, let's just do this. So I started pouring out some twisted teas over round ice balls so you
got to show off your ice making skills too.
Exactly, because a twisted tea, I've never had a twisted tea not on ice. I would imagine that's even worse. I need it on ice to cut it a little bit.
This is so funny. I'd always pictured you with it just like in the can.
No, I take my water bottle to SARS pre-ice cubed. That was my move on my walks. So I couldn't even
and then you fill your
that...
water bottle, and then you would maybe enjoy a sip or two on your way home.
Yeah, I think maybe
twisted tea
the first time I did it, it really was a whim. Like, I'll buy this thing, and then I do think maybe I drank it on the way home or I brought it home. But I'm a big fan of pouring things over ice anyway. I think it improves it. I've said many times, I think the best part, or not the best part, but the most important ingredient in a gin and tonic is the ice. Can you imagine drinking a gin and tonic that isn't on the rocks?
It
gives you a bad
feeling. It honestly
feeling, right?
makes my stomach turn a bit. Like,
exactly.
There's something about the idea of warm gin.
Oh God, right? It's just like in floating light. That's probably how they do it in Europe because they have some aversion to ice over there. But anyway, so after I had my first Twisted Tea experience, I believe this was last summer, I was like, oh, what I'll do is I'll just take my water bottle. I'll pre-ice the water bottle at home. The same water bottle that I take to the gym, by the way.
Love it.
I love it. And then so I take it over to SARS. I buy my 24-ounce can of Twisted Tea, and then in the parking lot between the SARS and the AMC Oak Tree, I pour the tea into the water bottle.
I love
There's
it.
never
I love
quite
this
enough room in the water bottle. So
Well, then you gotta
have to
chase the rest of it.
So you just have to down the rest of it really quickly.
Yeah.
Get rid of the can while the
Yes.
security guard is keeping an eye on you.
I love
And then you
this.
go to that walking bridge over Aurora and you stand up there and you watch the traffic go by. And you watch the world go by and you have yourself a little twisted tea on the rocks, my friend.
I honestly love this for you.
It's
And I really
called
mean that.
life.
Like, you know me, and like I'm very ritualistic about things,
Mm-hmm.
and like and stuff like. Even though some people may be hearing that, they may be thinking that doesn't sound fun for them. I know exactly. Like on a warm summer day, you kind of doing this little ritual, standing up on that overpass. By the way, my new favorite furniture and art consignment
Oh,
place.
yeah,
Big
Big Whale.
Whale
Yeah,
Consignment, which
yeah.
I've actually never been to, but I am absolutely obsessed with them. Lots of people have been sending us clips of this this business owner. She owns this consignment store on Aurora, and she makes these unbelievably charming videos about the spot. In fact, I'm trying to pitch CBS if they'll let me do a story about basically small business owners that have really effectively harnessed social media. Because I just want to basically interview this woman and give her more attention.
That's interesting. Yeah, and I love her because she's that place that you're talking about is directly across Aurora Avenue from the shopping center that we're talking about. This
where
SARS
the gate
area
used to be and the
everything.
IHOP and everything.
Exactly, and she makes these videos that go viral. And I think her very first big one a couple of years ago was like, hey, listen, this part of Aurora gets a really bad reputation. Here I was on the podcast.
People drinking twisted teas out here.
Right. Here I was on the podcast going to tell you about some of the worst things in my neighborhood not 20 minutes ago, which I sort of have mixed emotions about because I'm very protective of my neighborhood. And I love where I live, and there's a lot of good things about it. And what I like is this woman says, hey, listen, North Aurora is not all just the bad stories you hear from people like Andrew Walsh on his podcast. Like, we have a lot of good things going, including my store, and you should come visit. In fact, Luke, literally this very minute, I just got the latest email from this neighborhood thread about the activity going on down the street and said, I don't think anyone has mentioned reaching out to the media yet. Is there any appetite to contact a local news outlet? This person doesn't know that the media has already been covering it on this show, which is
The
about
call
to
is
post.
coming from inside the neighborhood.
Exactly. The media is on it. But the important thing is that nobody in my neighborhood knows that I do this job. That would be a very bad development
Do
in my
not,
life.
under any circumstances, anyone blow up Andrew's spot. I was
Do
trying to see
not.
if I could find on the fly a Big Whale, one of her videos. Here we go. Let me just play this for you. This famously, when we play stuff off of Instagram and YouTube, or it goes great. But here, let's try this here.
My consignment shop on Seattle's infamous Aurora Avenue, and everybody told me it would fail. But I'm still here, bitch. When I opened my shop, I really wasn't taking Aurora's colorful reputation.
By the way, she's standing under your Twisted Tea bridge.
Yeah.
She is in the median.
Watch closely. She might get a little drop of dew from my water bottle as it drips
There's
down.
a bearded guy ambling across the bridge. He looks a little turned up.
Ambling. Watch
Yeah.
your tongue, young man.
Into consideration. I just needed somewhere to hide all the shit I was buying so my husband doesn't find out. What some would call a big mistake, I would call it bold choice. Because although we've had our fair share of broken windows, unique visitors, and interesting business propositions, we turned a consignment shop on Seattle's wildest street into a home for over 150 local artists. Big Whale is a lot of things, but mistake is not one of them. And Aurora Avenue might be a lot of things too. We're just here to show people what else it can be.
I love her so much.
Yeah, and there's a little. By the way, her place abuts a little art space. I think that like kind of a communal art space or of some sort that I've never been in. Like there are cool things going on Aurora.
I think she might run that space too. In one of the videos,
really?
she talked. Yeah, I think she talked about 150 local artists. I think that's an expansion of.
Oh, I didn't know that. Something
yeah, I think so. It's kind of it's like she's got consignment, and then she's also got all this art that's for sale that's from local artists and stuff like. I mean, I just think that it's so great. So, so anyway, all that is to say, thank you very much. We really appreciate the support from Robin.
Is that where we are in the
Laughlin,
show?
Aaron. We're still there.
I thought we were in top stories.
We have not played that yet, but we're going to now. Thanks, Robin. We would not be here without you.
Hello and welcome to Top Story.
Now we're in Top Stories. And Andrew, speaking of internet audio, I'm actually very intrigued by this. Yesterday on the show, we got into an RFK Jr. conversation.
Headlines.
And
what do you say? RFK Jr. says skin not effective. Is that what it was?
Something to that effect. Let's see. RFK Jr., The Onion headlines. Let's see here. The archives. Let's see.
Questions efficacy of skin. RFK Jr. questions efficacy of skin.
Swollen RFK Jr. warns Americans not eating enough bees.
Did you see today's headline yesterday?
Yes,
by the way,
yeah.
I almost sent it to you. I'm doing this off the cuff here, but it says RFK Jr. spins brain on finger.
Yeah, and then there's just a photo of him spinning his brain like a Harlem Globetrotter spinning a basketball.
The reason you were buying time yesterday and reading those Onion headlines, which were just hilarious, was because I had told you about a piece of tape that I had seen on the, what did you used to say, ascendant social media platform Blue Sky, of some congressional hearing where a senator is talking and you hear the death rattle of breathing coming from RFK Jr. And you don't even see him. The camera is not on RFK Jr. The camera is on, what's this senator's name? Is it literally Crapo?
Mark Crapo from Idaho?
Crapo. I knew it wasn't Crapo, but it might as well be. He is, so basically at some sort of an HHS hearing, I actually don't even know what was going on. This was earlier this week, but the senator is actually kind of praising RFK Jr.'s programs,
he's from
I think.
Idaho.
And
he's a Republican.
While he's talking, so basically, what do you call the table during a hearing that like the people testifying sit at, whatever?
I don't know what the name for that is.
But RFK Jr. is presumably sitting there.
Mike
at this
Crapo,
table.
by the way, not Mark Crapo.
Oh, okay.
My bad.
And anyway, so Senator Crapo is talking, but while he's talking, you just hear RFK Jr. breathing into the microphone, which is always a bad sound. But Luke, let me put it this way. I believe this to be real. I found this elsewhere online as well. I guess because we don't see him, maybe the internet is fooling me, but I really don't think so.
TBTL has not independently verified this reporting.
I haven't individually verified or independently verified it, but take a listen to this. It sounds like a joke. It sounds a lot like, I don't know if I told you this about Lucy, but she snores. I don't know if puppies are supposed to snore. It sounds like Lucy is in the room during this testimony.
The many that you described in your testimony. In that context, in your testimony, you identified nutrition as a bedrock of health and one of the primary levers for treating and preventing chronic disease.
Now, we're going to keep going this because here's one of the reasons I believe it's real. At the very, very end, they cut to him. You see RFK Jr., and you're at the very end of this, you're just going to hear him say 2 or 3 words, and there is no doubt that the voice matches these breathing sounds.
You also emphasize that it's imperative for our nation's healthcare providers to be equipped to incorporate nutrition into patient care. Securing commitments from more than 50 medical schools to provide at least 40 hours of nutrition education is an incredible start. I don't think it was very long ago that there was probably very little nutrition taught in medical school. And now we are encouraging that to be a focal point. How does HHS plan to build on this progress by securing additional commitments from medical schools and expanding nutrition education into other key areas such as residency training, medical licensing, and continuing medical education?
Thank you very much, Chairman.
He's in charge of our health.
Well, that's the thing. Look, I mean, he has, I think the condition is called spasmodic dysphonia, which is, a thing that happens to folks. So his speaking voice is odd. I don't think anyone would, obviously even for the RFK Juniors of the world, it's probably not cool to make fun of that.
That's a good point. I guess I didn't know.
No, I'm not trying to correct you.
That's good context. I guess I didn't. I don't think I knew that, or if so, I kind of forgot it.
That was not meant to be trying to correct you. I'm trying to work my way to a place where I do feel like we should make fun of that because everything else about him. I guess what I was going to say is it's like when stuff about RFK Jr. is when things about his physicality are odd to me, they are magnified because he's supposed to be in charge of our health as a nation. And he promotes so many things that are so opposite of that and so anti-science. And so, there's just even like, even stuff like his voice, which again would normally be off limits in my mind, it's like, is it off limits? I don't know. The whole thing is just so complicated because of his specific job, which is putting, I think he's putting a lot of Americans in danger with the people he's firing, the competent people he's getting rid of, the incompetent people he's appointing, his suspicion around vaccines, his suspicion, or the fact that, according to this headline from The Onion, RFK Jr. urges Americans to grow lots of pubes to keep bugs from crawling into cockhole. You know, some of it's medically very questionable. But no, it's like, and then he's also just like, he's strangely buff. Like weirdly buff for his age, and is doing these workout videos with Kid Rock that are so like just upsetting and ridiculous. But then again, his breathing, that sounds very unhealthy. He's also been seen smoking cigarettes. He tans. He's on all kinds of hormone
When
replacement.
the camera finally shoots him, you're just like, oh my God, he looks like a puddle of death. Like it's just,
he's so he's like you really, it's like, you know, somebody went to like a Chipotle or one of these places where you get to choose all of your ingredients, and they just chose every weird intervention a guy of his age could do. Like, I'll take some I'll take some TRT, and I'll take some tanning, and I'll take some, just like everything.
Maybe some ketamine.
I'll take some ketamine. We don't. TBTL is not independently verified that he is taking ketamine, but sounds about right. I'll take some, some sort of whatever the Blue Chew Gold, whatever the boner pill of the moment is. Like
gold.
Oh yeah, you don't know about Blue Chew Gold, Andrew?
I assumed you were throwing gold on there for comedic purposes. Is that actually a thing that you've heard?
I believe it's a thing now that's supposed to like. So this is the evolution of the, if we can, we just said the word cockhole. So I guess, and are we, we just got into the Badlands. I think that, we're, it's a Friday. It's after 11 o'clock. We can say whatever we want. No, but like, I think that I see like on TikTok or whatever, I'll see these ads for various male enhancement. And I guess now the leading edge of the kind of boner pill science, because I think what's happened is that with much like with like sports betting being so ubiquitous, so available on everyone's phone all the time, just everyone has started, like not everyone, but a huge number of people have started to do it, particularly a huge number of young men. I think with the innovation of like mail order pharmacy stuff and like a ton of ads for like, what we would call male enhancement or, or male erectile problems, I think a lot of males have availed themselves of it, but now those pills aren't working as well anymore is the sense I get, because now the ads aren't just like, we're going to send you this pill and she's going to like it too. It's like, why aren't your pills working?
Oh, I have not heard that. See, because what I hear are these, I just hear all these ads for like local clinics that are kind of like, guys, are you still taking those pills with the side effects and the price? Like that's not a permanent solution. You have to come here and we're going to put air in your veins or whatever they do.
We're going to give you an embolism.
Yeah, right,
and she's going to like it too. Guys, would you like to look more like RFK Jr.? Let us shoot all your veins up with air.
That's right. You're going to look swole.
I get the feeling that do you wish you could work out with Kid Rock in a video? I get the feeling that because just like anything, there's these sort of law of unintended consequences. And what's happening is like, if all these fellers are taking all these pills, at some point, I would imagine your body adjusts to it or something, to where now, again, what I'm seeing is the ads are all like, are the pills not working for you anymore? It's because it's not just physical, it's mental. And so what the Blue Chew Gold, and I guess I'm just doing an ad for them now, what it purports to do is somehow fix the physical, which is a blood flow issue, but also get you real excited in your brain, because they're trying to basically the pitch that they're making to guys is that this is not purely a blood flow issue. It's also a like, are you excited enough in your mind flow issue? And they're purporting that this thing fixes both of those
And that
issues.
just sounds good. I mean, it sounds like going against nature in this way is probably good. Like making men making men more horny is really what we need as a society, because that has not become a problem.
Particularly men of a certain age.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
and a
like,
certain worldview in some cases as well. And but you know the thing that irritates me the most about this, Luke, is you're already called Blue Chew. You already have a color, and now you're adding another color. Why is it not Blue or Chew? It should be Blue or Chew.
Yes. Blue Chew Gold is like, you're not, it's right there in front of you, Blue or Chew. I'm also really curious, what can we expect in third wave bonerism? Because we're in second wave right now.
And can I just answer the question you're thinking right now? No, it's not a show title.
Listen, I'm leaving that to the listeners to decide. Please sign my petition online to make third wave bonerism today's show title. But like, because, what is it? Because whatever this is, it'll stop working at some point, or if it even works at all. And then it'll be like, is Blue Chew Gold not working for you anymore?
Yeah, right.
It's because you're not hearing enough Kid Rock music in your head while you're making love.
Blue Chew Platinum is up next.
Yes, they just have to keep ratcheting it up. But anyway, that I will say, that breathing from RFK Jr. is upsetting, because it's like, what I would say is whatever is happening with this guy's physical body, it doesn't seem good. Like, I don't think that the goal is to have more people, particularly more men, their bodies operating in the way that RFK Jr.'s body appears to be operating or not operating. Like, he's such a, you see him and again, I'm not judging what people eat, but you see him on the airplane with Trump, and he's got McDonald's in front of him. And it's like, again, everyone should eat what they want to eat, but I think we can all agree that a steady diet of McDonald's is not really going to be doing anybody any good. And it's like, this is the person who's, again, allegedly looking out for our health, and yeah, he's just,
maybe he hasn't had enough elk meat. Maybe he hasn't eaten enough raw elk meat. That's probably what the problem is.
Oh, he just needs to look on the roof of his car.
Yeah.
He seems to usually have some kind of roadkill up there.
In the city.
We haven't even talked about, I actually meant to bring this up as a real show topic, and here we are at the end of the week. So I don't have a lot to say on it, so it can just be a quickie. But like, listen, it is questionable to me if TMZ is a force for good or ill in our world. I would say it's definitely on the line, if not probably not great, just because of, I don't know, just the kind of information that they generally traffic in. But have you seen, there was a big New Yorker article about the fact that TMZ recently decided to unleash their people in D.C., and it's kind of awesome.
No, I haven't. I'm totally unaware of this story.
Yeah, like, TMZ has never been a particularly political organization, although I actually think Harvey Levin, the founder, has good politics. Like, he is generally, I think, a slightly progressive person. And so I think maybe just because they had sort of like, they were at their limit with like LA coverage, there's only so many scandals and so many crimes and whatever paparazzi photos that can be taken. So this may have been a purely business move on their part. They were like, well, what's kind of like, as they used to say, Hollywood for ugly people? It's DC. What if we just like what if we gave DC the, 30-mile zone? Is that what TMZ stands for?
I always forgot about that. Yeah, right.
If we gave DC the 30-mile zone treatment, and they have been, and it's great. Because the TMZ guys de-gaff.
Yeah.
They de-gaff. And the people
that they're de-gaff.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, and by that I just mean there is a certain, even in this day and age, even in 2026, there is a certain level of, I guess what you would say is an attempt at decorum that is followed by the Washington media elite, by the people that are generally standing around in the scrum or in the press avail, who are trying to talk to RFK Jr. or who are trying to talk to Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, or who are trying to talk to whomever it is. And because the people that when you get to the job, I used to cover DC, I would cover Congress for NPR, and even I had a small sense of it. Emphasis on small, because I never really knew what was going on and I was not good at it. But like, you get there, you got your BlackBerry, everyone's dressed in suits and appropriate business attire, and you take yourself a little bit seriously because you are at the kind of right sort of at the edge of where the political power rests. And it's hard to not have it make you think that you are an important person because you're interviewing important people. And it would appear that the TMZ people parachuted in and gaff about decorum. They just are like, I feel like I have this memory. I don't know if they were interviewing, if they were yelling at RFK Jr. or someone who supports him about roadkill on his roof. That's why I thought of it. But they just will ask the question that they need to ask. And listen, there are certainly Democrat politicians that are shady and get up to no good, and those people should be held accountable, in my opinion. But right now, it definitely feels like it's running much more hot on the Republican side. And you have so many Republican politicians that are so complicit in what's going on and so two-faced, where they are so afraid of criticizing Donald Trump and his actions because they don't want to get primaried. But you know also that they kind of hate it because it's bad politics for them. In other words, they hate what's going on. They hate the war in Iran because it's making gas prices higher, and they've got to go home to their district and defend $6 gas. Like, they're just caught in this impossible position that they made for themselves, by the way. But if they're talking to like a reporter from ABC, they can prevaricate. They can kind of just like, they can sort of just eventually keep averring and not answering the question until the ABC reporter just thinks it's rude for me to keep asking. This is not working on the TMZ people.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, I wish I could give you a specific example off the top of my head. I can't. But there's just something about this very like kind of just like, I don't know, rapacious, absolutely no sense of, again, I just keep using that word, decorum, just like media bot that is a TMZ reporter being unleashed on a rapacious, no sense of decency Republican politician that just feels like, boy, you've met your match.
Yeah.
And I kind of enjoy it.
Yeah, and there's something too about, and this isn't a fun place to take the show, but you talk about holding everybody accountable, whether or not they have an R or a D after their name. And I feel like those letters kind of mean less and less anyway. But generally speaking, when you do have somebody who is clearly, I don't know, like clearly corrupt or whatever, the Democrats do not support that person to the end, whereas the Republicans will. And I guess you can just make the argument that maybe I'm blinded by this, and I certainly am, out over my skis as far as like following this stuff closely. But like, like if somebody is caught doing something absolutely terrible, Trump will go out of his way to speak kindly of them or pardon them if given the opportunity. Whereas if you have a Bob Menendez or whatever, the Democrats are like, get out of here. You know what I mean? Like, I do think that's a notable difference, unless I'm forgetting some notable examples. People, I guess the right would say, well, what about the Clintons? But it's kind of like, nobody has voted for Bill Clinton since a lot of this stuff has come out. You know what I mean? And I certainly never, that shit doesn't work on me while we're just swearing, because I never voted for that guy. That was before my time, and I wouldn't vote for that guy.
I don't think there are any Democrats or people who tend to vote Democrat who, if Bill Clinton was implicated in, say, the Epstein files in a way that was provable about his, other than just being generally a creep, but if it was oh dear God, don't send Bill Clinton to prison. Like,
I'm going to stand up to defend that guy?
You know what I mean? It's like, that's the thing, and that's one of the asymmetries about the mindset of Democrats and the mindset of Republicans is, I think, not unfortunately, but for what it's worth, if there is somebody who's a Democrat who is provably acting inappropriately on whatever level, the Democrats, I think, are generally pretty quick to say, get out of here. Like, we don't stand behind you, whether it's, if it's Eric Swalwell in California, nobody was defending him early on. Right? It's like the theory of the case is that bad actors have to be rooted out, even if they're your own bad actors, because otherwise you're a hypocrite. And again, there are exceptions to that from time to time. There was this congresswoman in Florida who just had to step down. She was implicated in stealing a bunch of, think it was sort of like COVID funds. And I will say that the Democrats, in that case, what they were doing, their official position was let the legal system run its course, as opposed to preemptively removing her, which I think was probably also a power play. They didn't want to lose one more voting member because it's such a razor-thin margin. So I don't think that was a great move. She did leave hours before there was a hearing about her, so eventually it got to her. There was this kind of weird détente between the Swalwell people and this, or the Swalwell leaving and this guy in Texas who was a Republican who had an affair with a staffer who later ended her own life but wouldn't step down. Like just a guy who seemed to act. So basically what happened was the Republicans, Democrats came to some backdoor deal that was like, we'll lose one and you'll lose one. Kind of a thing, but you're right.
I didn't I had heard both of those mentioned on NPR in regards to the Swalwell story, but I kind of didn't realize that last piece that you just put together. That it was probably some deal.
They reached this point. Now this didn't end up happening, but there was basically this there was two Congress members who were Republican, two who were Democrat, who were kind of like, yeah, these guys got to go, but neither side wanted to have their folks go without the other folks. There was talk of like a kind of an agreement of like, okay, fine, we'll take out two of our people, you take out two of yours, and then everything is kind of the way it was before, and then we can all like pat ourselves on the back for being, disciplined. But I do think that generally speaking, Democrats are quicker to get rid of somebody from our side of things who we feel has acted very obviously inappropriately. I want to clarify one thing. I said it was a New Yorker piece. I think it was actually this New York Magazine piece that Charlotte Klein wrote. Washington enters its TMZ era. The three members of TMZ's new Washington, D.C. bureau arrived at Capitol Hill last Monday, ready and eager to stick their camera in the lawmakers' faces and ask them uncomfortable questions. But they were surprised to find that members of the House wouldn't be returning to work for another day. I was laughing. Oh, just wait until you see how infrequently these people work, said one congressional reporter. It's like a maximum 4-day week. The celebrity gossip outlet's Washington operation had started off with a bang. The partial government shutdown had enraged TMZ founder Harvey Levin, who thought he might shame Congress back into session by publicizing how lawmakers were spending their recesses, while federal workers went without pay. The photos did not disappoint. There was a khaki-clad Lindsey Graham at Disney World holding a bubble wand and boarding Space Mountain.
Oh, I saw those. I didn't realize
that's TMZ's
TMZ.
work.
Okay, yeah.
There was Ted Cruz scrolling in his Economy Plus seat. There were members of Congress touring Edinburgh Castle while on a trip to Scotland. The reaction in D.C. was, oh, that's just a codal, said Washington communications veteran New Wexler, referring to a congressional delegation. It wasn't clear TMZ understood the distinction or if it cares. You know what I mean? Again, it's sad that this is, it's sad that it's like TMZ to the rescue.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? It's like when we live in this era of like a post-shame era where it's like Congress can be not doing its job and Lindsey Graham can just be wandering around Disney with a bubble wand.
Yeah.
And like the only people that have the resources to send someone down there, it's freaking TMZ.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's all the legacy media's contracting. They don't have someone to go catch Lady G down there, and yet TMZ does. So I guess, any port in the storm?
Now it's a 3,030-mile radius or zone, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's probably the math on that. So, I mean, I'll put that down as one of my, and I know I've told this story before, but I knew Harvey Levin. I mean, I didn't know him, but Harvey Levin used to be the on-street reporter for the People's Court. So they used to do this bit on the People's Court where, in between, and I don't even think they didn't shoot any of this at the same time. I'm sure this was all shot at different moments. But the idea was the People's Court's going on and there's a case, and it's the case of whatever, the dry cleaner shrank the clothes and now these people are mad. And then they'd go, now let's get the on-street reaction. And it would just be Harvey Levin who'd be on the street just asking people who they thought was at fault in the case. And then the people, and I think it was usually New Yorkers. So that's how you know it wasn't shot in order, because People's Court, I'm sure, was shot on a soundstage in Burbank or something. But it'd be Harvey Levin on the streets of New York talking to people with, let's just say, limited legal training about who they thought was at fault in this particular dispute. So that's how I knew about Harvey Levin, because he was a actually trained lawyer. That's his background. Then I remember one day seeing him on TMZ, or on CNN, rather, as the founder of something called TMZ.com. And I thought, boy, this ain't going anywhere. What a misstep. You just left being the People's Court on-street legal analyst to found some BS thing called TMZ.com. That's absolutely going nowhere.
Yeah, why don't you go hang out with the guy who's making that micro-blogging platform?
Exactly. Just another case of me always picking them wrong. So.
Why has somebody not put together like a montage of Harvey Levin on the People's Court? Like, I'm seeing one TikTok where somebody trains their phone camera on their television for a clip of him on the People's Court, but you would just think that more people would be sort of fascinated by that era of his career.
Only me, Andrew.
Yeah.
Only me.
But and I guess, so that era would have been kind of, here, I might have found a little bit of something here if I can get YouTube to load.
Please.
Here,
what I would love, I want to hear the on the street people weighing in on the case.
So can this landlord really make the argument that the landlord couldn't rent the apartment out again because there's a TV sitting there?
No, move the TV out. That's ridiculous.
Even if the TV's sitting there, does that mean a tenant's, I'm not going to move in if there's a TV there?
No way. No way.
I mean, would any tenant say, I'm not going to move in because the TV is sitting there when he shows me the apartment?
No, if anything, it adds to the value of the apartment.
Because there's a TV that you're not going to get when you move in.
Exactly.
Oh, whatever. Going inside the courtroom.
Harvey, what do you got?
You know, in many states, if a landlord doesn't return the security deposit that is owed within 14 days of the time the tenant vacates, the landlord is not only on the hook for security, but on the hook for penalties as well. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
So he's just standing on the street. I had never seen this before. He's just standing on the street. He's accumulated maybe or gathered maybe like, I don't know, maybe there's 10 women behind him or just like waiting to weigh in on this particular case as he sets it up for them. That is amazing stuff.
Yeah. So, again, Harvey Levin, I think, was ahead of the curve on this, realizing that the true future of media was in sending shameless people. Actually, Howard Stern was ahead of the curve because he had Stuttering John going up and asking celebrities inappropriate questions of him. But right behind that was Harvey Levin and TMZ, and now they're our only hope for journalism.
I can't believe TMZ started in 2005. Like, I feel like, it's always been there. Or I would have put it in the 90s or something like that, but no.
Yeah, I would have too. I mean, he got a lot of... Harvey Levin is he's a very shrewd individual. I feel like he also was big on CNN. I mean, because, again, he was an attorney who was good at being on television. So I don't know if he popped up during the OJ stuff or not, but I just feel like he was kind of he was a sort of go-to on CNN a lot for legal stuff and everything. So he's a smart individual. So keep at it, Harvey. If you're hearing this, his nephew did produce the TBTL live shows at the Columbia City Theater. Adam Levin, the guy who produced that stuff for us, is Harvey Levin's nephew.
I remember you telling me about Adam. You worked with Adam, and you would tell stories about how good he was at that.
He was really good at it, but he was bringing a totally different energy too. Which was I remember we were in a sound check and somebody was messing up and he was not having it.
Very taskmastery, right?
I was like, this is why you're good at this, because this is not you're not treating this like it's a barn raising where we're all just hanging out and chilling and doing this was very serious stuff.
I didn't. I remember you telling me those stories. If you had told me about the connection to Harvey, I totally did not remember that at all.
Yeah, his nephew. So we've got there's a teeny bit of Harvey Levin DNA coursing through the TBTL origin story or whatever you want to call it. So. All right, my friend.
What do you think? Is that it for the day? Should I get this music rolling?
I think it's time. I see my neighbor Bob is already out mowing his lawn. It's competitive lawn mowing out here, Andrew.
Yeah, you got to get rid of that.
When Bob's got his when he's that's Brian. Brian's more Mr. Okay. Brian got the biggest delivery of gravel the other day. He got Gravel Mountain. And then he's out there on his skid loader just leveling. I'm very jealous.
Oh, man.
Very jealous. His gravel is absolutely on point right now. And mine is just
it's beautiful.
Mine's a pockmarked mess. But anyway, I'm going to get it worked out. I really will.
Can you steal his in the middle of the night? Bring it over and bucket.
I feel like he's got security cameras for that exact thing.
Sure, yeah.
I think he would definitely figure it out. So, all right. That is going to do it for today's episode and bring us to the end of our broadcast week. Thanks again for being here with us. We're going to be back here on Monday with more Imaginary Radio, so please do stop by for that. In the meantime, everyone have an amazing weekend. Hope you can get out and enjoy the nice weather. Go Mariners, and please remember, no mountain too tall.
And good luck to all.
Power out.